Did you know that certain parts of your body are invisible and immune to your immune system? Guess what? The hair follicle is one of those places. So, isn't it interesting that a wide range of Black women are suffering from alopecia areata? Because alopecia areata is when your immune system attacks the hair follicle, but it's a scientific fact that the hair's follicle is actually a place in the body that is invisible to the immune system. So what is it that you do on a daily basis that makes a part of your body that is that is invisible to your immune system be attacked by the immune system? Well, we're gonna unpack that in this video, but don't get mad. I know you tired of my shit. I know you tired of me saying that you can't grease your scalp and you just want to hear me say something different, but I'm not gonna say nothing different. Let's talk about it.
I am back. What it do, baby?
The hair follicle is an immune privilege site on the body. This means that it has built-in mechanisms to limit the amount of immune activity. This is to protect the hair follicle stem cells to ensure that you're getting a continuous cycle of hair growth without interruption. You know how I talk about the human hair growth cycle and how you go from anagen to canogen to telogen and all of those things. Well, this is why this is able to happen. However, if this environment is disrupted and implanted with any form of yeast or bacteria overgrowth or anything foreign of that nature, it will trigger an immune response within the body. So this once immune privileged site now becomes a place where the immune system is attacking. So why isn't the hair follicle connected to your body's immune system? Your body produces this cell that I am not about to pronounce right now, and what this does, it limits cell activity. This reduces immune cell activity in general, but I'm not saying all of this, but this on the screen is what reduces the activity of your immune cells. So the lower part of the hair follicle has a very limited blood supply. This restricts the immune cells from ever reaching the follicle in the first place. What's so crazy about the human body, which is why all of these hacks drive me crazy, is because no one can tell me that your body was not created by a masterful creator. Peep this. There is a protection of stem cells going on within the hair's follicle. Hair's follicle stem cells are shielded from the immune surveillance. This prevents unattended attacks on the hair follicle that can render your hair growth. So basically, your body has a built-in shield and like protection, like shield, and invisible little cloak thing where the surveillance that's going around your body, the surveillance team that's going around your body looking for things that are not supposed to be there for it to destroy, so it can't see it. Your body is a city. When I'm telling y'all that your body is a city and you just sprinkling a couple little drops of oil ain't gonna do nothing, that is what I mean. Oh my God, let's keep going. If there's any type of inflammation present, then this immune privilege that the follicle has is going to be wiped away. So when you think of videos like this where you see people just pouring oils and butters and greases on the scalp and all of the things, all of the stuff that you're constantly putting on the scalp, all you're really doing is filling up the follicle. Think about it. The follicle is microscopic. This is what the human hair follicle looks like under a microscope. It look big. It look like a big old hole, don't it? But if you look at it right now in the mirror, it don't look like no big old hole like that. But you pour all of that oil on there. So I know it's like a Moses Jones where they're like, oh my God, run when you pour all of the oil on there, and all you're doing is filling up the hair's follicle, and then there is a foreign body there. That oil, that butter, that grease, there's a foreign body there, so that is going to trigger an immune response. And then boom shakala boom, one part of the body that was never visible to the immune system is now visible, and the immune system, its job is to send out soldiers to attack. So once you make your follicle now visible to the immune system, now you're open to be under attack, thus alopecia areata. But I digress. So when you increase the inflammation, what you also do is increase the communication between the immune cells within your body. I'm gonna put the names of these immune cells up on the screen, so that way you can go and research them for yourself, so you don't think I'm just making up stuff. These inflammatory signals right here attack T cells, and this word that I'm not about to say, to the hair follicle. The immune system literally goes in and starts attacking different hair growth cells, and then that is going to result in your hair starting to fall out and thin out. This is so important. So when y'all again are putting oils and greases and butters on your hair, the only thing you're doing is slowly killing your hair follicle. And right now I'm just breaking down to you exactly what you're doing on a microscopic level. And the messed up part about it is it attacks key cells, key follicular cells, which is going to lead to hair miniaturization. I've made full-fledged videos about hair shaft miniaturization. A lot of y'all were like, oh, that's not real, but hair shaft miniaturization comes from all of the practices that you guys have been doing, which all cause for you to trigger that immune response within the follicle. Listen, like can somebody hear your girl talking in the back? I don't think you can hear me, because listen, I was trying to break this down in a very, very simplistic way years ago, but now in 2025, we have reached almost the land of no return. But let's keep, I'm sorry. Number 3 is hair growth cycle disruptions. If you are somebody who is experiencing something like this, or if you trigger the immune, if you are someone who has triggered the immune response within the hair's follicle, then you are going to experience balding and thinning. This is because you're cutting off that hair growth cycle. So instead of the hair growth cycle going from the anagen phase to the canogen phase to the telogen phase, it stops maybe right at the canogen phase, where your hair is detaching itself from the blood supply, and instead of only about 5% of your follicles being in that phase, because you've triggered the inflammation, now instead of that small percentage, almost 80% of your hair is in that stage, and now your hair is coming out in clumps and you have big bald spots. So to prevent inflammation and to prevent triggering this immune response, then you need to lower the chances of the scalp and the follicle being inflamed. So again, what are some things that lead to the inflammation of the hair follicle and the scalp? Where greasing and oiling the scalp, having tight hairstyles, not shampooing the hair on a regular basis, and so many other things. I really hope that this video makes sense, but I need you to understand that there is something called immune privilege that everyone's follicle has, regardless of the color of their skin. But there is a group of women who culturally are constantly putting themselves in this situation. Real quick before we go, I'm going to give you a couple of visual representations of things, styles, and certain things that trigger your body's immune response, because the hair follicle is invisible into the immune system until you start to do certain things to it. So I know that talking about this, sometimes people are visual learners. So let's say all of this again, but with a visual representation. This is what the human hair follicle looks like, and this is what your hair growth cycle looks like. This is where it takes place. And as you can see, the oils and butters that you put on the scalp have absolutely no place for the human scalp and the human hair shaft. As you can see, there is a sebaceous gland anchored onto the side of the hair's follicle. And as you can see, even though you can see a bunch of veins down there, the blood supply for the hair follicle is very limited. It's just a very, very small passageway if you pay attention. So when you are getting oxygen flow and when the blood is sending oxygen and different nutrients to the hair's follicle, it is mandatory that the body also gets a clear oxygen flow from the environment. But if you're constantly greasing and oiling the scalp, none of these things happen. This is an animation of how your hair looks up close. And as you can see, there's not a big wide gap ready to receive oils and butters. So I know that it is an emotional thing that you think, oh my God, I'm going to put this oil on my hair and my hair is going to grow. No, that's not how it works. Your job is to keep the scalp clean, because if you have flakes and burning and all of these different things, these are all signs of inflammation. And that's a drop of water trying to illustrate that it is most important for you to pay attention to the health of your scalp if you want to maintain a healthy hair growth cycle. So, not shampooing the hair for months at a time does not help you. Dirt, bacteria, and yeast don't help the hair grow. It helps a lot of the different microflora that lives within the hair follicle. It helps that grow, and it helps to throw off your natural skin cell turnover cycle. But the oil that you are pouring on your scalp is not more powerful than the oil that the creator meant to protrude out of the hair's follicle. And all you're doing by covering the follicle with all of these oils and butters is literally causing more of an issue. And I know it's confusing because every time you go on social media, all you see is people selling oils. You have professionals selling oils. You have your YouTubers selling oils. Everybody's selling oils. You know why? Because nobody knows the truth of the human hair shaft. Everybody's throwing paint at the wall and hoping something sticks, hoping something looks good. But it all remains true that regardless of how popular the person is, how many subscribers, how many followers they have, no one needs to be buying oils, greases, and butters for anyone to go on the scalp, because nothing goes on the human scalp but shampoo. And I know it's a love project for you. You finally found a distributor to have your favorite oil and you have your label on it, and now everybody's buying it, but it does not change the fact that nothing goes on the scalp but shampoo. I challenge you, why don't you go into work, if you work around the majority of women with super long hair that are not black, go ask them how often they oil or grease the scalp, and I can guarantee you they're going to tell you never. I have so many friends that are actually Indian women who actually practice AREATA, and none of them oil or grease the scalp. They all use herbs the way they were intended, and that is for internal use to cure different things within the body. But you are supposed to do things holistically. And when I say holistically, I mean the whole of the body. You can't just say, oh, my hair is dry, so I need oil. That is not a holistic practice. A holistic practice would be, okay, my scalp is dry. What can I do, right, to make sure that my scalp is no longer dry? A lot of times it's an internal issue. It could be the things that you're eating. So instead of you putting the avocados in your hair, instead of you putting avocado oil in your hair, why don't you just eat the avocado? Why don't you change your diet? These are the things that we need to think about. These are the things that we need to be aware of, because I don't care what anybody says or how offended anybody is by the sound of my voice or the way that I talk. The sebaceous gland is in your body, not just your scalp, but to produce oil. As we speak, if the follicle is not blocked, this is what the human hair shaft, this is what the human follicle is doing every second of every day, releasing sebum. But if your scalp is always wet, or if there's already a layer of oil and blue magic, if there's already a layer of grease right here over the scalp, this sebum is going to be blocked. It won't even come up. Imagine the animation that you're looking at right now. Imagine if there was a thick layer coating this small opening that the sebum comes through. You'll throw the cycles off. So this is why you cleanse the scalp. The little animation that you're seeing right now, when women from other races did use oils, it was a specific mixture, and it was not about the oil. The oil was a carrier that killed yeast and bacteria, and it was left on for no longer than 15 minutes and shampooed right off. So I know I say this all the time. I know I'm talking about it all the time, but guess what? As we move out of one phase, a brand new phase of the oilers is coming through, and we're not gonna have it. In 2025, everybody is going to take accountability, and step one of accountability is actually learning how to perfect the actual genre that you're making videos about. There is nothing that an oil that is in a bottle can do for the human scalp that the sebum that is protruding out of the sebaceous gland and coating the hair shaft before it even protrudes out of the pore can do. And this is a fact. This is how your hair shaft looks. This is where hair growth is happening. So keep the scalp clean, because at the end of the day, that is our number one purpose. So make sure that you do me a favor and go ahead and sign up for the 7-day challenge. Listen, I know you're probably tired of hearing about it, but I talk a lot of shit because I can back it up. The 7-day challenge and the growth cycle blueprint, and baby, that's my stuff. And this is one of the gurus. She has been putting in all of the work, and it's paid off. I am someone who is not making videos here on YouTube just to rage bait you or just to upset you. Absolutely not. You can go back 10 years on my channel and I'm saying the same thing today as I was then. The difference between today and 10 years ago is now we are living in the age of Aquarius, where all things that were hidden have come to the surface. So now in 2025, you can clearly see who all of the people were that were making things up. And you can also see who was sticking to the science. And this is the thing, you don't have to get overwhelmed. You don't have to be upset. You don't have to be offended. Any of those things. The reason that I'm so passionate when I talk is because the majority of women were at a place that this guru was at a year ago. And after a year of her following the science, after a year of her sticking to the routines and the patterns that she learned from me through the course, she was able to not only grow hair, but retain her length. This is from inside of the 7-day challenge. I don't really like to add things that they did with their hair, but that's neither here nor there, because this video isn't giving out, this picture isn't giving out any information other than what she did on a regular basis. I want you guys to understand, this woman was not doing wash and goes, twist outs. She had no fear of the blow dryer, and her patterns and routines are simplistic. It doesn't require her to layer products on top of the hair. It does not require her to buy new products every couple of weeks. This woman is purchasing new products once every 3 to 4 months. Some of you are shampooing your hair once every 3 to 4 months. She only has to spend money on products every quarter, basically. And so these are things that I want everybody to get into. And when I make videos like this, if you're tired of me hearing this, saying the same thing over and over again, well, guess what? It's just time for you to stop watching my videos, because over the last decade and some change, cosmetologists have watched you all break and destroy this hair industry. So guess what? You are going to watch me fix it. I love you so much. I hope you let me know what you think about this video in the description box below. Make sure you let me know if whether or not you've taken the time out to go ahead and see if whether or not you have triggered any responses like this, and let me know if whether or not you've learned anything today. And until next time, bye girl.